Rogers TV.
Welcome to An Hour to Give. I'm Sam Laprade. Today we're going to be talking about your hospital, the Ottawa Hospital. We're going to be sharing an incredible patient story with you. And Tracy Bacinas is joining us now. Hi, Tracy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
It's great to have you here.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
And tell us a little bit about your life.
Well, I am a mom of 15-year-old twins about to turn 16,
Wow.
2 boys. So there's a lot of sports in my household, and I work as a film teacher and a film editor. I work on shows from Los Angeles. Since I moved here about 15 years ago, I've been able to continue to work remotely on some shows in Los Angeles, which is great. And I was moving along happily in my life, and then I started having a little pain in my hip.
And is that where Dr. Joel Warrior ends up in the story? Doctor, tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I specialize in orthopedic oncology, so bone cancers. Really the same kind of cancer Terry Fox had. And I've been in practice in Ottawa at the Ottawa Hospital since 2002, both at the Ottawa Hospital and the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, but my main practice is at the Ottawa Hospital. So we run a cancer program for bone cancers for sarcoma, which is a type of cancer that comes from the bone. And we have a big team that's been developed over the years at the Ottawa Hospital.
Okay, now I'm going to ask Tracy to pick up your story and tell me from that moment, tell me a little bit about your story.
Sure. So we had been to New York, actually. My family had been to New York just for a holiday, and we had walked miles. You know how it is in New York. You just walk and walk and walk for days. So when we got back, I had like a continuing pain in my hip. I keep saying hip in my pain. Maybe it is a hip in my pain. But it was getting worse, and I started to limp and noticed that going upstairs was really painful, and I was even talking on the phone while walking because I walked a lot. Like my life involved a lot of editing, sitting while working, so I made a conscious effort to get up at lunch every day and walk a couple of kilometers, and in the morning as well, and even in the evening. So walking was my sort of way to relax and stay healthy. And so walking and talking on the phone to a relative, I mentioned I was far away from home and thought that I might have to get someone to come pick me up because my hip was hurting so badly. So when I finally made it home, I thought, okay, I have to go and talk to my GP and see what's going on. Maybe it's arthritis. So I did go, and she also thought, bursitis maybe, but just sort of ordered some imaging to see what was happening. And it was an unexpected outcome with the imaging, for sure.
And take me to the imaging, because we spoke before the show and you said, Sam, the imaging is unexpected.
Well, most people who have pain in their hip usually have arthritis or something else. And when Tracy's family physician ordered an x-ray, there was an abnormality in the x-ray that was not normal, right? And there was the suggestion that this could be a cancerous process in her pelvis, in the acetabulum, which is sort of the cup of the hip, part of the pelvis. And based on that x-ray, her family physician looked at it, read the report, and referred it to our unit at the Ottawa Hospital, because that's what we deal with. So, we saw Tracy based on what was found on the x-ray.
Right. Yeah.
Do you remember that moment?
Boy, do I remember that moment.
Tell me about it.
So still, though, when I went to see Dr. Warrior for the first time, I didn't know. He's the expert. So I just knew there was something on the imaging that could be something, and maybe could be a benign something. So when I went to see Dr. Warrior and he looked at the image of the mass, he was pretty sure that it was chondrosarcoma. And, you know, I'm someone like, what is that? Like, what is chondrosarcoma? What does that mean for me? And I remember because, you know, you don't realize how serious it is until someone tells you. And what I really appreciated about Dr. Warrior is that he was very upfront and told me right away, like, I can save your life, I can save your leg probably, and, you know, but you're going to go through a really big deal surgery. And there were lots of decisions to be made from that point on, is like decisions about biopsy, decisions about choices with implant or no implant. So Dr. Warrior presented all of the options to me, how it could go and what potential outcomes would be if I chose one route over another. And so he gave me all the options and told me basically what those outcomes could look like, and gave me some time to think about it. And I remember it was like, you can have some time, but not too much time. Got to get on it, you know. So that was the beginning of it all, yeah.
Now, Dr. Warrior, we know that Tracy remembers every minute of that conversation. As the patient, we take it all in. Do you, as a doctor, seeing hundreds and thousands of patients, do you remember?
Well, I do remember Tracy, and you know, you know, it's quite shocking for someone to hear that they have cancer, and you know, the first time I saw cancer, you know, you see some imaging, and you have a suspicion of what something is, right? Or you have a strong inclination, and you know, I said, well, this is what I think it is, you know, and this is what it looks like, and then you order the tests you need to do and the biopsies you need to do to confirm everything. But I do remember her, and I do remember her saying that mobility and walking is very important to me. I do remember that. It is to everybody. But, you know, she's a very active person and had a very active lifestyle, which is wonderful and very important. And, you know, the issue with the chondrosarcoma, it is a cancer that starts in the bone. The only real treatment for it is surgery. We don't give chemotherapy for this type of cancer. We don't give radiation for this type of cancer. So every cancer is treated a little bit differently. So the tumor has to be removed. But you know, it's like real estate, anatomy, or sorry, you know, location counts, right? It's location, location, location. Yeah. So this location is very challenging. It's right in the pelvis, which is, you know, it holds your hip to your body, to your spine, you know, and essentially she had to have a very large portion of her pelvis removed, which is the bone, you know, that really connects your leg to your spine, with the hip joint, and you know, really the options provided, and that is sort of the operation she needed to have done. You have to remove the tumor, and there's only one way to remove it, and that's to remove the whole thing with all the bone around it. And then we had a long discussion about what does it mean afterwards for your rehabilitation and your function. And you know, I know Tracy had a lot of questions regarding that.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's really important, and you have already touched on it, and Doctor, you've done a great job of touching on it as well, is that communication between patient and doctor is so key. And I can just see, you know, the obviously the relationship between the two of you, that you've had an opportunity to connect over something so difficult, but how important was the communication?
It's huge. It's really huge. And I mean, Dr. Warrior was available to talk on the phone and to answer questions. And like he said, I had a lot of questions. Like I researched. I had lists of questions, and it was so important for my peace of mind. You know, like I felt going into the surgery 100% confident, and I trusted Dr. Warrior because he gave me the time to answer those questions and to, you know, treat me like a person who is living a life. And at one point, I remember my sister was gone, and I thought she was going to be at the surgery. There was a delay. She flew home, and I was upset she wasn't going to be there. And Dr. Warrior said, "I'll be your sister. I'll put on a wig and come and be your sister." But she made it back. Do you remember that?
I love that.
No, but you know, but then no, there's one thing sometimes it's tough to make decisions, on when you have an option, right? So there was no option. You needed the big surgery to remove the tumor, and the real option is, what do you do after you remove the tumor and the pelvis? Do you rebuild it with an artificial prosthesis or not, and just reconnect things with tissues and ligaments and not have a pelvic bone and walk with more of a disability? So, recently there's been newer technologies in 3D printed pelvises with hip replacements, which are very customized prosthetics. So Tracy opted to go for that option, and the reason we don't do it for everybody, there's risks with that too. There's a risk of infection. There's a risk of, you have to outweigh the risks, benefits for an individual person. And, Tracy prioritized, mobility was very important to her, and it made sense for her to do this, even though there was a higher risk of infection or the operation's a little bit longer. So we designed a custom pelvis with companies we work with that replace her pelvis with metal and screws and a hip replacement. And it's very different than a hip replacement from arthritis. Those can be done 5 or 6 in a day. This one operation took over 10 hours. And these prostheses are also, very sophisticated and very expensive, and the Ottawa Hospital funds it. So, it's not an inexpensive prosthesis, but fortunately our hospital agrees to fund these things, and in these situations, and so we ordered the pelvis, and it was made, manufactured, and it was once the tumor was out, we were able to replace her pelvis and hip with an artificial one.
It's amazing. We only have a couple minutes. You're going to come back and we're going to hear more of your story. But before we go to break, I want to ask you, when you heard your diagnosis and you knew that you would be working with the great team at the Ottawa Hospital, did that put your mind at ease? Because I know it would mine.
It did. It really did. First of all, to be able to stay in Ottawa with my support system. All of my friends set up a calendar, and they came every single day and got me through it. My husband was there, my kids could come and see me, and that was really huge for me. And to know that I could trust that I would have the best possible outcome with the team that were built. It was a pretty big team because it was Dr. Warrior, Dr. Abdelberry, and a whole team. I don't even know how many people were in there. And then afterwards in recovery and everything, it helped me to understand that I was in good hands and that I would make it through and my outcome would be as good as it could be.
Wonderful. I love hearing that. We only have 30 seconds. How proud are you to work at the Ottawa Hospital?
Oh, very much. And for this kind of surgery, there are only 2 centers in Ontario that have the teams to do this kind of treatment, this kind of surgery. So we're very fortunate to have the support of our hospital. I mean, the Ottawa Hospital has really been my home and base for the last, 20 or so more years. And, it's a great institution to work, and we're very proud of it, and, want to work with the hospital and its people to really bring care and be integrated with our community and, to serve our community. So very happy to be where I am.
Beautifully said. We're going to come back and chat more, of course, with the good doctor and with Tracy when we come back on An Hour to Give. Today is all about the Ottawa Hospital. You'll want to stay with us on An Hour to Give.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Welcome to Community News and Events on Rogers TV Channel 22. I'm Star Rahbar. Celebrate the season at the Holiday Roots Market. It takes place November 29th and 30th at Next Door Market and Event Space 955 Gladstone Avenue. This festive indoor market is a celebration of BIPOC makers, culture, and community spirit. Discover handcrafted gift, cozy decor, seasonal treats, and unique creation. With live music and warm community vibes, this holiday market is perfect for beginning your gift shopping season. Visit nextdoorottawa.ca for details. To have your community news or events listed on our website, please go to rogerstv.com. Click on events and post your event. That's it.
Welcome to Ottawa in the Know. I'm Julie Finley. I'm happy to be here to show you everything from bike trails to kitchen tales and all the things in between that make Ottawa so great.
Summer days, summer nights, lots of things to do, places to go, and people to see. If you're having a few drinks, be sure to plan ahead and get home safely. We don't want to pick you up. Drinking drivers risk injuries to themselves and others and take chances with their license, their jobs, and their future. Remember what's at stake and choose your ride, whether you're the driver, the passenger, or the party host. Thanks for supporting sober driving. I hope we never meet.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more.
I'm Sam Laprade. We're, of course, here on An Hour to Give. I have a little bit of homework for you. I'd like you to visit creatingtomorrow.ca, and this is all about this incredible campaign for the Ottawa Hospital, and we're learning some of those amazing success stories, and Dr. Joel Warriors brought his patient with him today. He's doing a house call here today on An Hour to Give, and he's brought Tracy Bacinas with him today. And we were talking, Doctor, before we went to break about how proud you are to be working at the Ottawa Hospital, and I think it's really important to talk about how innovative, how incredibly world-class this population of over 1 million people in this city has the Ottawa Hospital, which is leading the way in so many ways. Talk to me a little bit about your experiences.
Well, I could honestly say that you will get the best care in Ottawa at the Ottawa Hospital that you will in any famous hospital in the world, whether it be in New York or the Mayo Clinic or in wherever you could think. So it really is cutting edge. There's a great research institute, led by great people. It's very exciting that a new campus is being built. It's going to be such, an advancement. This modern campus integrating into the community, to provide services, for everybody. So it really is an innovative place. Wonderful colleagues, and when you go through and a patient gives a letter to the hospital saying, well, their experience, they're often thanking not just the physicians, but the nurses, the porters, everybody who greets them along the way. So it is really a great hospital and a great institution, and despite it being such a big place, it really does have a great feel working in it. So I think we're very lucky to have it.
For sure. And Tracy, you were mentioning earlier, you've got twin boys, you've got a big life, you've got lots of friends. When you started to share the news about your cancer diagnosis and people learned that you were going to be cared for at the Ottawa Hospital, you indicated it was a relief to you. Did your family and friends also say, thank heavens we have the Ottawa Hospital?
Definitely. My parents were super thankful that we live in Ottawa. And I have a sister that I mentioned before. She's a doctor as well in British Columbia, and she flew out and she said, you're in such good hands. Like, you're in really great hands. And so even from a professional standpoint, she pointed out how lucky I am to be in Ottawa and to have the Ottawa Hospital.
Yeah, and I think when I sort of travel, I have the ability to travel a lot, and when I hear about the work that's being done here, we really punch above our weight. Would you agree, Doctor?
Well, I think we do for the size of our city, but we also service a large community, so we need to punch above our weight, right? If Tracy didn't live in Ottawa, but she lived in another part of Ontario, she would have to fly in. So we have to be able to service not just Ottawa, but the communities around Ottawa and further areas within the province. So we do punch above our weight, and it's great. Yeah.
And Tracy, when you had your diagnosis, obviously your surgery, and the doctor shared many details about your surgery, you come out of that surgery, and what happens next?
I stayed in the orthopedic unit for about 6 weeks, recovering, just staying there. The nurses were incredible. Everyone there, like you were mentioning, the porters, the nurses, the staff, everybody made me feel not just cared for, but cared about. And that was really, really a huge part of my recovery, because some days you're in there all alone and you're crying because you're trying to accept the fact that this is your life, this is your body, you have a new normal now. And there were nurses that would come and like hold my hand and sing to me and just tell me, you know, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay. In those moments in between, because you don't want to cry in front of your kids, right? And so there were quiet moments where you kind of let it out, and the people at the hospital were really there for me. So that was 6 weeks. And then I went home because I had to convalesce for a while longer, right? Before I could engage in rehab, I had to let everything sort of heal a bit.
Yeah.
So I was at home for about 6 or 8 weeks or something like that. And then after that, I went to the rehab center and I stayed there for about 5 or 6 weeks. And my full-time job was working with occupational therapists, physiotherapists, and getting out of the bed, out of the wheelchair, and learning to walk again. Yeah.
And when you have this incredible sort of perspective, you see patients come in, they're wide-eyed, asking lots of questions, and then you're here today sharing this story on television and radio with Tracy, to see that full gamut and see how far she's come. What would you say to her today, Doc?
Well, I'm proud of her. Like she's worked hard, but everybody has to do their role. And you know, one of the reasons, you know, you stay in hospital for a bit and then she stayed at home a bit recovering, because when you go to rehab at the Ottawa Hospital, at the rehab center, you have to work. They work you. You're not there.
They really do.
You know, they work you, right? Because but it also takes a lot of motivation on Tracy's part. I mean, it's learning how to walk again. It's regaining your confidence. It's sort of doing what you're told. You know, don't put your leg in this position yet. Don't do this, and you know, be careful getting out of a chair. And now I saw you walking today, and in the clinic a few weeks back, you're walking great.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it really is.
And you probably never take a shower for granted again.
Never, never,
yes,
never.
Yeah, I feel that. When you think about how the new campus, which is incredible, you think about the current hospital, all of the innovation, much of that has come from donors, from your neighbors, from corporations you might drive by the street and they really dug deep and gave to the hospital. Did that sort of well up as well for you, Tracy, realizing that so much of this has come from our community?
What I did learn and realize in a very deep way and profound way is how much community does matter, and how we never know if something is going to happen to us or to a loved one, and we're going to need that safety net, and someone we love may need a life-saving surgery. And to know that the community pulls together, supports the hospital, and treats healthcare like a community issue is phenomenal. And it really does help so many people who need it the most, and makes a huge difference in life-changing moments like mine.
Do you allow yourself to go there yet about the new campus and picture yourself, practicing at that new incredible campus for the Ottawa Hospital? Do you allow yourself that moment?
Well, you know, it's hard to think about it at times. The days are pretty busy as they are. And, you know, we also, but it is exciting to get into a new campus, a new build. Not all the surgical services will go to the new campus. Some will stay at the general. But it is very exciting. But it is important, you realize working in a hospital how much of the hospital is built around the community and donations that are given, and big things and little things that make differences, on how rooms are designed, amenities, even surgical equipment, and to develop certain programs are really often done out of fundraising and community initiatives. So it's really important. It's sort of the way our healthcare system works. It's everybody gives a bit, and then when you need it, you get it back, right? So it is very important, and you see it in the hospital, what the community's done to support different areas of hospital infrastructure, and I think the community involvement, I know there's been a lot of consultations with the community for this new campus, but I think the fundraising and the community involvement in the build of the new campus is very important.
And what would you say to Tracy, to donors that are contributing right now to see this new campus make it really a hub in the community? It's going to be this wonderful, innovative, of course, institution, but it's about the people, which I love the most.
It's an investment in the people in the community. It's an investment in everyone's lives here, and it's investment in the quality of life in this entire region. So I would say that it's critical to support the Ottawa Hospital to help it grow into an even bigger world-class center as it is already.
Because the specialized cancer care, as you mentioned, is not in every city. The fact it's here in the capital, the fact it's here at the Ottawa Hospital is really essential. How important is it for you and your team that we do that here?
Well, I think it's important because we serve a large population, and there are complex problems, and the Ottawa Hospital is a tertiary and quaternary care hospital, right? So our community partners throughout the region, they're great hospitals, they do what they do, but there are certain things that can only be done in a big hospital with all the infrastructure, with all the support, with all the backup. So it needs to be in a big city like Ottawa, and there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to go around that. So we have a responsibility to look after our local population and be there for, to support the communities and the other hospitals as well that don't do this stuff, right? So no, it's really important, and it's a great place to work, and we are excited about this new campus, right? And the designs I've seen look fantastic, and from my understanding and the discussions we've had, it's really designed around the patient experience. So I think that it's going to be very exciting to see.
Now, mom to mom, because I have a daughter who's 17, and you've got your young boys. Talk to me a little bit about, we only have about a minute, but what it means for future generations. I've made my gift to the Ottawa Hospital. I think it's important in our children's names that we step up and make a gift. How do you feel?
I agree. First of all, I'm here for my kids because of the Ottawa Hospital and Dr. Warrior. Like, I'm able to continue being a mom. I'm able to continue walking with them. And so I think of their future, and you never know what's going to happen, and they're going to have children and grandchildren, and I want them to feel confident that whatever happens in the family, we've got it, we've got it. Ottawa has it, your mom has it, grandma has it, and everyone will come together to make things as good as they can be.
Well, is that not the most perfect place to end our time together today, with such gratitude?
Yeah.
Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much, Doctor, for sharing as well. Well, we are sharing today about gratitude for the Ottawa Hospital, and if you want to reach out, creatingtomorrow.ca is the place to make your gift. We've got some very exciting news. The one and only Tim Kluk, the Ottawa Hospital President and CEO of the Foundation, will be joining us when we return on An Hour to Give.
Welcome to Community News and Events on Rogers TV Channel 22. I'm Khadija Abdinor. Get ready for the festive season with the Eastern Ontario Craft and Gift Christmas Market happening Saturday, November 29th at the Manotick Legion at 5550 Ann Street. The event runs from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and features over 30 talented vendors. From home decor and artisan food to unique gifts and holiday wonders, admission and parking are free, making it an ideal stop for locals and visitors alike. There will also be door prizes, special treats for kids, and chances to win in a raffle. Whether you're looking to cross off gifts from your list or simply soak up the holiday vibe with Christmas spirit, This market promises a warm, festive experience. To have your community news or events listed on our website, please go to rogerstv.com, click on events, and post your event. That's it.
For 25 years, you've been helping to make our roads safer by doing the right thing. You've been the designated driver, you've stayed over, called home, you've called a cab or a friend, and planned ahead. Let's keep doing the right thing. Support sober driving by getting yourself and your friends home safely.
Do the right thing.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Hello to your cell phone. How can I help?
I need somebody, not just anybody. Won't you please, 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 please help me?
Well, one of my favorite guests, of course, here on An Hour to Give is the one and only Tim Kluk. He is the president and CEO of the Ottawa Hospital Foundation, and him and his team are doing an incredible job. And I want to invite you to visit creatingtomorrow.ca because you can learn about every aspect of this incredible campaign that they have ongoing right now. Tim's going to give us some details. Hi, Tim. How are you?
Hello, Sam. Great to be here. Thanks.
Tim, every time I see you, I think you and your team are like the Energizer Bunnies. I don't know how you do it. You are at every event. You are all around this city. You're inviting people to the hospital. And it is a $500 million campaign. This is not small money we're talking. But the investment you're asking the community to make is because this is impactful for every single one of us.
I think that's why we're in the community so much. And you're right, it's an incredible campaign. It is the largest campaign in our city's history. And I would say it's the most significant campaign in terms of impact on the city. We just heard from Tracy and Dr. Warrior and the incredible work that happens at the Ottawa Hospital. But this region needs a strong Ottawa Hospital. And 100 years ago, the residents of Ottawa built the original Civic, and on the heels of a pandemic, and here we are changing the healthcare landscape. And it's the largest healthcare infrastructure project of our lifetime, and will shape the future of healthcare for generations.
Do you often think about the people 100 years ago, Tim, on those days where you're maybe driving to a meeting and thinking, I want to have a little nap, and do you often think about them?
I absolutely do, because and maybe you've heard me say this, I absolutely believe, for me personally, and I know our team feels the same way, it's an absolute privilege to be part of this project and at the Ottawa Hospital at this time to shape the future of the city. And I've read the newspaper clippings from 100 years ago, and the pride in which they described the kind of newest technology and all of those elements that were built into that original $3.5 million hospital. There was a great sense of community pride, and 1,000 people came out to the opening. It was incredible. So yeah, I think of it often, and very proud to be part of it. And you know, I know my family is as well, proud that we're donors to the campaign and active in it.
I think everybody can be seen in this campaign. And anybody that'll listen to me, I say whether it's $25, $2,500, $25,000, $2.5 million, everybody has a place in this campaign. And every single person in this community gives meaningful gifts. We will get there.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to ask you a question, and I don't know if you can share it with me or not. I'm kind of looking for the scoop. So we have $500 million we need to raise. Now, you and I, over the last number of years, we've shared new numbers. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. Do you have a new number for me, Tim?
We listen, what a past few weeks it's been for the Ottawa Hospital. So, you know, if you would have asked me a month ago, and said, how's the campaign going? I would have said we're at $366 million towards our $500 million goal. Thrilled to say that we're at $396 million, which is incredible. It's ahead of our plans. And yeah, we are so grateful to the community. And your point is so well taken. We actually have 50,000 donors to this campaign. And as you said, that could be somebody writing a direct mail coupon, someone signing up as a monthly donor, plan gifts, as you say. And I would say to a family that I've talked to is that they've recognized the legacy project of building a new hospital and often have given their largest gifts. And whether that's my largest monthly donation or as a company or a philanthropist, my largest gift ever. And I think that's resonated in this campaign. As we heard Dr. Warrior say, everybody in Ottawa needs a strong Ottawa hospital for that tertiary specialty care. We provide 70% of all of the adult care in the region, and 100% of specialty care. So exciting.
Yeah. And I consider the gift from my daughter and I to be an insurance policy. I want you to be there for us, Tim, right?
We'll be there.
Yeah,
We'll be
exactly.
there.
So I think that's really important. Congratulations to you and the team. I had no idea you were going to give me a number like that today. So that's very exciting. I know recently you were given 1 million reasons to smile. Can we talk about a recent $1 million gift that's got us all excited?
100%. One of our longest volunteers and most generous donors is Robert Merkley, and he's done so much for this community and, of course, at the Ottawa Hospital. And Merkley Supply and Robert said, listen, we're going to match donations right up to the end of the year to the tune of $1 million, which is incredible. Like here we are in Ottawa. So every individual who's sitting out there saying, what are my plans for the holidays? Well, if you make a donation to the Ottawa Hospital, the great news is Robert and his team is going to match that gift. So no matter what the size, up to $1 million. So yeah, that was a pretty good phone call to make.
Yeah. I'll take those all day long, right? I'd send them your way. But I love that. I think that's fantastic. And I think the other piece that I think is really important is that at this time of year, many of us, I've started to feel this over the last couple of years, I don't need anything for the holidays. But what I do need is a strong community. I want to find a way to give back. So someone listening right now may be listening and thinking, oh, I was going to spend, $2,000 on gifts for the office. Maybe I'll make a gift in honor of my team members and say now it's going to be matched. Now it's a much bigger gift, or for a family member or for someone that just doesn't feel like they need anything. This would be a wonderful way to give tribute to them, but also remember the Ottawa Hospital.
100%. We're seeing it actually throughout the year as well. Like some kids who are saying I'm foregoing my birthday party, and their guests are sending in donations that support the hospital. So you're absolutely right. I think there's no better time of year to rally around the hospital, and I don't need another pair of socks, right? So why don't you look at a contribution to the hospital, send a nice card to a loved one, and let them know that you made a gift in their honor. I think it's a wonderful way to celebrate.
The one thing I really want people to understand about this new campus, of course, and if you've driven by Dow's Lake at all, you see the parking garage there, which is just the start. I'm so excited. You drive by that, and you may think, okay, it's a building, but it's so much more than that. I'd love you to talk a little bit about the research side of this as well, because I always think about, and you taught me this, research is care tomorrow.
100%. Research, we have 11,000 patients today enrolled in clinical trials at the Ottawa Hospital. So what that means is perhaps the traditional treatments are not working. And so research really is hope, and that's what a clinical trial offers to our patients. So the Ottawa Hospital is one of the largest research hospitals in Canada. The size of our research institute, good research gets funded. We are often third in the nation behind Sick Kids in Toronto, behind the UHN, maybe McGill. So we are a research intense hospital. And it's important that allows us as well to recruit great clinicians and researchers to come to Ottawa. Like, Ottawa is a great city, and there are lots of reasons why people come to Ottawa. We've got a great canal, we've got a pretty good hockey team and a football team, great art scene, great music scene, but we've got great health care, and we don't want anybody to leave home. And I think Tracy earlier spoke about the value of having family close. So research is care. As Dr. Auer, the head of our research institute, says, the most powerful word in the dictionary is yet. And I think that's what research, it's the hope and promise of something may not be curable or fixable yet. And it's research that informs that care.
We had another 18 months with my father because of clinical trials. So, I mean, I can talk all day about the impact of that. I think it's really, really, really important. And there's so many different ways, of course, for people to give. So we know that this time of year, they might be giving that annual gift, thinking, oh, I want to get that tax receipt by December 31st. Now you've given them another reason, matching up to $1 million from, of course, Merkley's and Robert Merkley and his team. But I also want to talk about monthly giving because, and you may recall, I know you talked to a lot of donors, but I started my gift off as a monthly gift because what it did, and then I ended up I want to just give it to you. But I think the monthly piece is really important because families can plan philanthropy. And sometimes we have to plan philanthropy in the economy we're in.
I give the same way. I just happen to use payroll deduction, right? And my team does as well. So I think monthly giving is incredible. It allows us as a foundation to be also really planful with the hospital because we can predictably, because philanthropy can be unpredictable, people don't have to contribute. We certainly hope they do, but it allows us to be very predictable. And we are blessed with many monthly donors, and it's really easy to do. You can come to our website, you can call in and talk to a member of our team and set up a monthly gift that makes sense for you and your budget. It's gifts of all sizes. You said it yourself that there's a place for everybody in this campaign, and a monthly gift is a great way. If you're a new donor and not quite sure how much you can give within your means and break it down on that monthly basis.
Yeah, it's really important. And I know the team, of course, talks to many corporations in this city, many business owners that are stepping up, like we see with Robert Merkley and his team, stepping up and making the biggest gift those corporations have ever made. Because I think it also, talent attracts talent, right? We want this great city with great health care, and talent that are thinking about moving to Ottawa. I know if I'm a mom, I'm thinking about the hospital and all the other things you mentioned, but that's an important piece.
It is. Dave Gilbert from Patterson Group, he helped coordinate $1 million gift from the Patterson Group. And he pulled me aside recently and he said, Tim, I would like to talk to any business that you're meeting with about the impact us making that gift had on our business. Our clients know it, our customers know it, and even his industry association recognized them for that leadership. And he said, we've got so much. We did great. We did a great gift to the hospital, and it's going to benefit a lot of people. But just the knock-on effect of their business, their employees are proud of what they've done because their names are there, and they recognize that they work for a great company that's giving back to the community.
Now that's a perspective I didn't have. It's a good one though, because I think what's, often you're looking at the bottom line, but that culture that's based in community, there's no dollars that pay for that. It's the actions behind leaders.
And we see that it helps create a positive corporate culture
100%.
That's embedded in the community.
100%. Don't leave me, okay? We're coming back. Tim Kluk is going to stay with us, of course, the Ottawa Hospital Foundation President and CEO. We have so much to talk about still, talking about the Ottawa Hospital today on An Hour to Give.
My name is Cara, and I'm here with my friends Shane and Monique, and we're getting ready for season 2 of the Fitness Passion on Rogers TV. Join us right here.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
Welcome to Community News and Events on Rogers TV, Channel 22. I'm Khadija Abdinor. The Super Saturdays program returns to the main branch of the Ottawa Public Library on Saturday, November 8th at 2 p.m., continuing weekly until December 13th. This drop-in, family-friendly event offers a variety of activities for children and caregivers. You'll find crafts, movies, and STEM-inspired projects. The program encourages hands-on learning in a relaxed, welcoming environment. No registration is required, though attendees are advised to arrive a little early to secure space and fully enjoy the engaging activities. Programs are available in both English and French. Your family's Saturdays just got even more super. Visit vividottawalibrary.ca or scan the QR code on the screen for more details. To have your community news or events listed on our website, please go to rogerstv.com, click on events, and post your event. That's it.
Are you a content creator looking to expand your audience and make your voice heard in your community? Rogers TV wants to provide you with a platform to share your hobbies, interests, and stories for free. Visit us to find out more.
I'm Sam Laprade, of course, host of An Hour to Give. I love the Ottawa Hospital. I love everything they're doing with creatingtomorrow.ca. I am a proud donor to this campaign. Did I have $1 million to give? No, but I gave what was meaningful for my family. And I think every single family in this community has an opportunity to think about how they can contribute to $500 million campaign. And I'll be honest with you, when I heard it was $500 million, I thought, that's a lot of money. But what I do know about fundraising and what I do know about this community is every dollar truly will help. The one guy that I know that knows a lot about that is Tim Kluk. He is the president and CEO of the Ottawa Hospital Foundation. And I know you are the proud president and CEO of the foundation, and I know you're a proud donor as well. I want to talk a little bit about time, talent, and treasure. Sure. Now, this is an important conversation with me because really, this show is based on time, talent, and treasure. Yeah. We know there are endless people that are dedicating and volunteering their time for this campaign. And often you and I talk about the numbers, which are fantastic, by the way, but I want to talk about the time.
For sure. You know, as the Ottawa Hospital, we rely significantly on volunteers, whether that's our 17-member board of directors who are active at a board level. They're leaning in on at committee meetings. They're chairing our finance, our investment. These are community leaders with great expertise that we recruit to provide governance oversight to our organization. And then it cascades out. We have a great campaign executive, our chair emeritus, Roger Greenberg, who you know. We've got 4 great campaign co-chairs, 12 executive committee members working on the campaign, and 43 campaign cabinet members. So we've got right now at least 100 folks who are helping out raise funds to support the Ottawa Hospital. And that's not mentioning all of the leaders in the community that are doing home-hosted events. They're maybe doing a neighborhood fundraiser, doing that garage sale, you name it, and our table captains for our breakfast. So it does take an army, so to speak. Yeah. It does take a community, and anyone that wants to help, there is a place to help. We'll figure it out because we can't get there on our own, and we need the entire community kind of pulling and pushing in the same direction. 100%,
and I'm so glad you mentioned it because many of the people that are part of all the campaign teams you just mentioned, you know, they'll saddle up to me at a cocktail party and they'll say, "Oh, Sam, this is what we're doing," and they're very excited. They're a very energetic team, and each of them, I find find too sort of has a bit of a niche of the community. We think about Dr. Quadro Kiramentang, obviously one of your ICU doctors, but also is just out in the community.
That's right.
And people feel like, oh, there's Dr. K, I can go talk to Dr. K about the campaign. So I find everybody that you've chosen to be around that big giant table and dedicate their time are also people that are so infiltrated into the community, they're attracting wonderful donations.
It's not one size fits all. And even if you look at our co-chairs, you know, Jeff Clark, who leads construction company, he's focused on the construction sector. Ginger Bertrand, who focuses on that next generation, right? And Kevin Ford, who's focused on the high-tech and business community, bringing CEOs and CFOs together. And then Dr. K, who is everywhere. He's got he's got a great perspective as a physician and what this means as a physician, but also just his wonderful message around health in general. And so, you know, they set the tone at the top, and we have volunteers, whether it's local people who are running a small business or maybe someone working at an accounting firm. Like I said, there's a place for everyone.
And I want to go back to a conversation we had a little bit earlier, because we were talking about how wonderful it is, of course, from a corporation perspective, to create that sort of corporate culture and give back to the hospital, because employees then feel good about that. I recently heard our mayor, Mark Sutcliffe, talking about, although of course health is you know, an Ontario priority and it's not sort of under the jurisdiction of the municipality, that our mayor is really committed to attract doctors to our city because of all the culture and the way of life and all of that. Were you pleased to hear that kind of message from the mayor?
I think it's just another great example of how it'll take the entire community. Listen, healthcare is challenging. You know, we get that. And at the Ottawa Hospital, we're doing our part. But to see the mayor and the city step forward to say, how can we help? How can we create an environment that's going to help attract physicians to choose Ottawa? For all of the reasons that we said earlier, great universities, community colleges, the arts, sports, entertainment, all of that is so important. But even as the Ottawa Hospital, you know, the vision and strategic plan of the Ottawa Hospital is called Reshaping Healthcare. Why is it called Reshaping Healthcare? Because the same old isn't going to work anymore. And, you know, we're focused very much on building this new campus, but it will be a kind of a bit of a lightning rod to change how all of us experience healthcare in our community. And the hospital's focus is really looking at the patient experience from before you come to the hospital, but also what happens when you leave hospital. Whereas hospitals historically have been very siloed focused. And we are taking a much more holistic view to say, yes, we will treat you on the worst day of your life and we will get you well. But how can we transition you to an alternative level of care, transition you to maybe long-term care if you're a senior, and transition you right to home? So looking at that continuum of care. And never before would we have talked really about recruiting family physicians. But we are, and we're working with many partners to say, how can we ensure that more residents of Ottawa have a family physician? It's critical.
Because once again, the trickle-down effect of that not being the case is huge. It's bungling up ER rooms and all of those things. So that's really, really an important piece. And when I think about 100 years ago, of course, the pandemic was the reason we have the Civic, and now we've just come out of our own pandemic. Do you think that the fact that the pandemic of 2020 to 2023 really also opened the eyes of local residents to the importance of the hospital? And I think about, for instance, the rooms that are going to be in the new campus.
I think it opened all of our eyes about how fragile life is. And, you know, we kind of heard of this tsunami that was coming, but when it really hit the hospitals and all of us, to see our healthcare providers react the way they did, our physicians, our nurses, all of individuals working within the healthcare sector, it hit them hard. but it also, I think, helps spur some of the changes that we're seeing. And while we always plan to have private patient rooms at this new hospital, it reinforced why that is so important. Yes, we need privacy. Yes, to have your own bathroom, shower, but that infection control mechanism where we had to lock down sections of the hospital. Well, now each and every room is, it's kind of like its own little ICU, right? And we can control. So the patient-family experience will be much better. And we know a lot of our donors kind of even increased their giving during COVID, right? It just reinforced how important healthcare is to all of us. And I know as a foundation, we never take it for granted, and we're really grateful for the response of the community, especially during COVID, and funding some really innovative initiatives at the hospital.
CreatingTomorrow.ca, I've sent a number of my own sort of people from my network there to take a look to see how they can find themselves in the campaign. We're obviously racing towards the end of 2025, although I don't want to believe it. No. But how in the next month would you want someone listening and watching us today to sort of take a next step for the Ottawa Hospital?
Sure. So if I was sitting at home right now listening to this, you could log on to creatingtomorrow.ca, just as you said, and you can make a gift at that time. You can also, through our website, send us a note if you'd like to have a conversation about your giving. If you want to be more thoughtful, maybe this is something you might want to pledge over time. Maybe you want to learn more. Right? We've talked very much at a high level, but maybe you want to have a conversation with a member of our team that can go through some of perhaps even the taxable benefits of giving, or how you might want to structure a gift. And so that is one way as well. And similar with a business. Invite us in, let us present to your management team, let us talk about the campaign and ways that we could work to rally your workplace. So maybe the message is take some action. No matter what it is. Invite us into a conversation, visit the website and make a contribution, or invite us into your workplace or home.
And we're just seeing so many people be creative about events they're hosting for you as well. I mean, it's obviously a very serious topic, but we can have some fun too, right, Tim?
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you're not having fun, you're not having fun.
Right, it's true.
And isn't it great when the community can benefit from rallying people with common spirit, common interest, rallying them together for something positive and something good.
Something so incredibly needed in our community. Tim, keep up the great work, and send my love to the team. They're working so hard too. Tim and his team at the Ottawa Hospital Foundation are doing a wonderful job going towards that goal of $500 million. To everyone at the Ottawa Hospital that's doing great work, everybody from physicians to nurses, everybody that calls the Ottawa Hospital their workplace, we're grateful. Stay with us on An Hour to Give.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
After a night out with your friends, not having a plan for a safe ride home can leave you in a bad spot. You could end up riding in a police car, an ambulance, or a hearse. These unplanned modes of transportation can be a costly choice and do not take you home. Your plan could include a designated driver, a taxi, or public transit. Drink responsibly. Choose your ride.